Fear is a powerful thing. It doesn't just whisper warnings. It screams them until they drown out every other voice. For years, I let fear dictate my life, shaping my decisions, my relationships, and my dreams. Or rather, the lack thereof. It wasn't always obvious. At first, it masqueraded as caution, prudence, even wisdom. But over time, I realized it was nothing more than cowardice disguised as self-preservation. Tonight, I want to confess how fear hijacked my life, the opportunities I missed, the people I pushed away, and the person I could have been. Because living in fear isn't living at all. Saying these words aloud feels like opening a door I've kept locked for too long. Maybe sharing my story will help me finally step into the light. It started early. For as long as I can remember, fear was my constant companion. Growing up, our house wasn't peaceful. My parents fought often, their raised voices filling every corner of our home. As a child, I didn't know how to process what I saw or heard. So, I internalized it, burying my feelings under layers of anxiety and self-doubt. Fear became my default setting, a shield against uncertainty, rejection, and pain. Back then, I thought it protected me. Looking back now, I realize it only imprisoned me further. Every decision I made, from friendships to career paths, was filtered through that lens of fear, and it cost me dearly. The first big choice came during college, a crossroads where dreams either take flight or falter. While my classmates dreamed of launching startups, traveling the world, or pursuing creative passions, I played it safe. Fear whispered lies in my ear. You're not talented enough. You'll fail if you try something risky. Stick to what's secure. So I chose a stable, predictable path, not because it excited me, but because it terrified me less. At the time, I convinced myself it was practical, but deep down I knew better. I was sacrificing potential happiness for the illusion of safety. That decision set the tone for everything that followed, a lifetime of settling instead of striving. Afterward, denial became my coping mechanism. It's fine, I told myself. This job pays the bills, it's stable, reliable. But deep down, I knew better. Every unanswered dream, every unspoken aspiration lingered in the back of my mind, gnawing at my sense of purpose. Instead of confronting my fears, I buried myself in work, hobbies, anything to keep my mind occupied. When thoughts of what could have been surfaced, I swatted them away with excuses. I'm not built for taking risks. I'd say, trying to convince myself that staying small was safer. These rationalizations were lies, flimsy attempts to justify staying stuck in my own misery. Fear kept me silent, even as dissatisfaction gnawed at me relentlessly. Fear didn't just shape my career, it sabotaged my relationships too. She was patient, kind, and endlessly understanding, but I wasn't. Every moment of vulnerability felt like stepping onto thin ice, waiting for it to crack beneath me. When she asked about my dreams, my fears, my future, I deflected, afraid of being judged or rejected. Instead of leaning in, I pulled away, convincing myself that keeping her at arm's length was safer. One day, after yet another argument, she looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "I can't keep fighting for us if you won't fight for yourself." Then she walked away, leaving me alone with my fears. That moment shattered me, not because she left, but because I realized she was right. I had let fear consume me, destroying everything I cared about in the process. Once fear took root, it spread like wildfire, one incident after another, each more destructive than the last. Family gatherings turned into battlegrounds. Casual conversations devolved into arguments. Friendships faded into awkward silences. I couldn't control it, Or maybe I didn't want to. Fear felt powerful, like armor shielding me from being hurt again. But in reality, it only pushed people further away. Sitting at that dinner table, surrounded by loved ones who barely recognized me anymore, I realized how much I'd lost. Not just relationships, but pieces of myself. Every harsh word, every slammed door echoed back at me, reminding me of the wreckage I'd created. Confrontation came unexpectedly, not with someone else, but with myself. Standing in front of that mirror, I saw the truth staring back at me. The man looking back wasn't strong or brave. He was scared, broken, and lost. I had spent so many years blaming others for my unhappiness, refusing to take ownership of my actions. But the truth was uglier. I was projecting my own pain onto everyone around me. That moment shattered me, not because it was easy, but because it forced me to see myself clearly for the first time. I realized that fear wasn't protecting me. It was suffocating me. And if I wanted to live, truly live, I had to let it go. Rebuilding began with small steps, tiny acts of courage that felt monumental at the time. Writing in my journal helped me untangle years of suppressed emotions, confronting patterns of avoidance and self-destruction. Each page brought clarity, each sentence a step closer to healing. I started saying yes to things that scared me, applying for jobs outside my comfort zone, reconnecting with old friends, even signing up for public speaking workshops. Some days, progress felt impossible. Other days I caught glimpses of the person I could become. Healing isn't linear, but it's worth the effort. Through this journey, I've learned that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. Admitting you're scared, that you don't have all the answers, that takes courage. Slowly, I began to rebuild my sense of self-worth, learning to trust not just others, but also myself. The journey wasn't easy. It was messy, painful, and often exhausting, but it was worth it. For the first time in years, I felt whole again. Losing relationships taught me the value of honesty, communication, and accountability. These lessons may have come too late to save some bonds, but they've shaped the person I am today. Peace isn't something you find, it's something you create. For so long, I chased safety, running from risks and hiding behind fear. But now, standing here by this lake, I realize peace isn't about avoiding storms. It's about learning to stand in the rain without breaking. Fear will always linger for failures, for uncertainties, but it no longer controls me. It doesn't dictate my choices or silence my voice anymore. As I watch the sun rise slowly over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink, I feel lighter, not because everything has been fixed, but because I've stopped carrying the weight of what-ifs. This moment reminds me that life keeps moving forward, whether we're ready or not. And maybe, just maybe, I'm finally ready to move with it.